Now that you have your product ideas, it's extremely important for you to understand Etsy fees, all of the different types, so you can make sure that you're going to be profitable with the product that you want to sell. Because I'm assuming that even though this may be your passion, you do want to make money from it. So you can go ahead and follow this link right here, and that is going to show you all of the breakdown of the different Etsy fees and policies in detail. But here I'm going to summarize and break it down everything for you today. So, what are the different types of fees? The first type of fees are the fees that you always have to pay no matter what. The first one is the listing fee, and that is 20 cents, always charged in US dollars. So, whenever you list an item, you're going to be charged 20 cents for that item. So let's say you have 5 of those items. Every time that you sell one of them and your listing gets renewed, you're going to be charged another 20 cents. So that is going to be 20 cents per item that you list. And later on, you're going to see that Etsy charges this when you create your listing and not when you create the sale. But still, you need to take that into consideration for your product price, because you're always going to be charged that amount for every single sale. Next, you have the transaction fee, and that is going to be 5% of the total sale price. So if you're selling a product for $10 and the shipping cost is $5, the total sale price is $15, and that fee is going to be 5% of $15. And don't worry about keeping this up on your head, because I actually have a surprise for you. I've created a profit calculator for you for free, so you're going to be able to access that and instantly calculate all of the profits based on your product price in your own specific situation. So let's keep going. The next type of fees are location dependent fees. So that's going to depend on the country that you're selling in or what currency you're going to be accepting. The first one are going to be the Etsy payment fees. And for the USA, that's going to be 3% of the total sale price plus 25 cents. If you're selling in another country, you can check what is your specific Etsy payment fees by going to this link that I showed you before. And then if you scroll down to number 4, I believe, Etsy payments, you can click here on Etsy payments policy, and then scroll all the way down. And then here you're going to be able to see, based on the country that you're selling in, what is going to be your Etsy payment fee. So if I go all the way down, you see, as I said, the United States, it's 3% of total sale price plus 25 cents in US dollars. The next location dependent fee are going to be the sales tax and the VAT amount, which is value added tax. So depending on where you're selling your product, Etsy is going to charge the customer according to the country or the state's policies. And then lastly, there's the currency conversion fee. So let's say your shop is set up in the United States, but you have listings in Etsy Australia, and you're accepting that sale in the Australian dollars. So when Etsy deposits that amount for you, they're going to be charging 2.5% on that conversion fee. The next type of fees are specifically to physical products, and those are shipping fees. So you're going to be able to purchase shipping labels to actually ship the product to the customer through Etsy, and we're going to go through that later in the course, or you can buy your own label, but you need to take into account that cost when you're establishing your price. You're also going to be able to decide if you want to charge the customer for the shipping fee, and then Etsy can calculate that for the customer based on your item's weight and dimensions, or if you want to offer free shipping. But either way, you have to take that into account. The last type of fees are completely optional. The first one is the subscription fee. You're going to see when you're setting up your shop that you're going to be able to create your Pinterest account completely free. You do not need to pay anything. But you also have the option to upgrade, but the fee for that upgrade is going to be $10 per month. And then lastly, there are the advertising fees, also optional, and those are going to be Etsy ads that we're going to cover here in the course as well. that is going to be completely up to you how much you want to spend in order to advertise your listing, as well as Etsy offsite ads. This is a program provided by Etsy where you can opt in or out in order to allow Etsy to advertise your products in other platforms, and you only pay if you actually make a sale. But that fee is going to cost you 15% of the total sale price. So just keep that in mind, that if you do opt in, you need to have that room in your profit margin in order to account for that extra 15% fee. And as promised, I've created this Etsy profit calculator so we can go through a few examples and quickly figure out if your product price is on point for you to be profitable, accounting all of the different fees that you might incur. So go ahead and click on this link here that I've provided, and then you're going to be brought to this spreadsheet. And the first thing that you need to do is actually go to File and then click on Make a Copy. That way you're going to be able to have your own copy of this spreadsheet, and then you can start inputting your own numbers and getting the whole scenario specific about your products. So let me walk you through this Etsy profit calculator. So this first section here is where you would input your product price, how much you're listing your product for. Also, if you're having any sales or coupons, that's where you input here the amount of the discount. If you're charging your customers any shipping fees, then that's where you would input that amount, as well as if you're charging them anything for gift wrap, because you might actually offer them gift wrap and not charge them anything, but you can also actually set an extra fee for gift wrap. And after you set everything, you're going to get the total sale price. So you can easily see that if I went ahead and started charging my customers $3.50 for shipping fee, the total sale price would change. And down here, you're going to have the Etsy fees that we just talked about. So first of all, the listing fee, which is going to be 20 cents no matter what, 20 cents charged in US dollars. Then the transaction fee, and as you can see here on the formula, that's going to be 5% of the total sale price. And the transaction fee, as well as we talked about, as you can see on the formula, is going to be for the US, 3% of the total sale price, this right here, plus 25 cents. So the total fees that you're being charged are $2.70 for this situation right here. And your gross profit is going to be $19.32. However, this is just the overall profit. That's why it's called gross profit. If you have any cost for your goods or any other types of cost, you should definitely be adding those when really analyzing your total profit. So specifically, if you're selling physical products, this is where you would input the cost of goods. So cost of supplies, or cost of maybe renting a machine that you might be using, cost of product packaging, gift wrapping, all the costs that you're going to incur. And then here, shipping cost. So even though you're charging your customers $3.50 for shipping, that's not necessarily going to be the cost of you purchasing that shipping label. It could be less or it could be more, and you can have that calculation done for you when you create your listing on Etsy, and then you input the weight and dimensions of your products. Then they're going to give you some estimations of the total shipping cost. So this is where you input the shipping cost. So for example, let's say that my cost of goods are $3 and then shipping costs are $2.90. And I've also left room here for you to put any other product costs. So that is completely up to you. Maybe you're paying someone to help you fulfill orders, so you would put here how much you're paying them per product, or maybe it's some advertising cost. So I just left room here for you to customize this calculator for your specific case. And then after you input everything, here you're going to get your net profit. So this is how much you would be making for every single product that you sell, with this price, with this coupon code, with this shipping fee, and all that. and with these costs as well. And that comes to a total percentage net profit of 62%. So you can start analyzing what's good and what's not good for you. And then you can start playing with different prices and different coupon codes, for example, to see what's the best offer that you can do for your customers and for yourself as well. But then in this very last section, it's very important to have an overview of your monthly revenue and your monthly profit, especially if you really want to scale this and have this become your full-time job. So in this first cell here, you would put how many sales per month you can estimate. And we've already talked about in our competitor analysis video, how you could kind of estimate your product sales based on your top competitors' sales. So in this case, just as an example, I put 10 sales per month. And then here you would add any other expenses that you might have associated with your Etsy business. So for example, any subscription fees, if you're subscribed to Canva Pro or to Marmalade, or if you subscribe to Etsy, have your Etsy Plus account, you would input here, as well as any other expense. I wanted to make sure to leave that room here if that was your case. And then at the end, you would get here your monthly revenue, which as you can see here is just the total number of sales times the total sale price. Now your monthly profit, it's almost half. And as you can see here on the formula, is the total of sales per month times your net profit minus any expenses that you're going to be incurring as a business. So I hope this is a great resource to help you start understanding how you can make this into a full-time business and how you can actually make your passion and your entrepreneurial skills into a full-time job or into a business that you're proud of and that you enjoy working on, and that it can actually give you flexibility and fulfillment and all that. So with that being said, I'm going to leave the link of this profit calculator also in the resources below, and let's go ahead and get to the next video.